I'm fine. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Are you ready? Ready, ready? This is the Deliberate Millionaire Stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. I am Rosemary Noni Knight. I am the Prosperity Minister and business coach for ambitious spiritual people. I help you leave behind the pain, the limiting beliefs of the past, and rise victorious in your true design life. What is the true design life? It is the life of freedom, fulfillment, financial abundance, a love drenched life. You get to claim that. It is your choice. You have all of the choices. Hear me then. Hear me, hear me, hear me. You have all of the choices. Nothing, no one can make this decision for you. You are the one that gets to decide whether you're going to live to the fullness of your potential or if you are going to give in or, what we're talking about today, this whole approval addiction, where you're waiting for external validation all of the time, waiting for somebody to tell you that what you're doing is enough, that what you have to offer the world is enough. I can't tell you the number of people who are, in fact, we all know, if you're not one of them, where you are holding back from living to the fullness of your potential because you're waiting for someone to tell you. Maybe it's your pastor, maybe it's your spiritual teacher, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a partner. You're waiting for them to give you permission to live in your purpose. There's a part of you that cannot fully back yourself. This needs to cease. This needs to stop. You have all the choices. You can validate yourself. You can decide that what you have inside of you must be released on the world. We're going to start with our affirmation. I am the deliberate designer of my life. I am powerful enough to create what I desire. Let this be your truth. Let this be your truth. Okay. I am the deliberate designer of my life. I am the deliberate designer of my life. And again, I am the deliberate designer of my life. Oh, I am the deliberate designer of my life. I am powerful enough to create what I desire. I'm powerful enough to create what I desire. I'm powerful enough to create what I desire. I am the deliberate designer of my life. You must be. And this, as we affirm it, let it become true for you. That you are the one that determines your life. That you start to trust yourself again. That you start to trust that what you have, the message you want to deliver on the world, is enough. It is tempting, oh, so very tempting to believe that whatever you have to say, whatever you want to do, somebody else is doing it and they're doing it a heck of a lot better than you. And so, therefore, there's no need for you to try to do your thing. And so then people stay in unfulfillment. They stay in unfulfillment for the rest of their life because they could never quite convince themselves. And they're waiting for somebody else to convince them, but nobody could. Because if you can't trust yourself, it doesn't even matter how many certifications you get, how much validation you get from anybody. You won't be able to hold your ground long enough to see the result that you want. So even if you did get all the validation you think you want, because you do not back yourself, your pastor, your teacher, your parent, your partner, everybody can be telling you and telling you and telling you and telling you that you are enough, that you can go now, you can go now, you can go now, but you will never trust enough to fully back yourself. And so your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind well, your subconscious mind will take on the message that you're giving it that you are not enough, that you are not good enough. Now, yes, there's a certain amount of that can be healthy feedback of someone appreciating what you have to say, or appreciating you in some way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when your whole life is dependent on getting that appreciation, getting that feedback that you are enough, that you are good enough, that what you have is good enough, and that you should put it out there. It is that unhealthy dependence on somebody else's words over your own. We are mostly programmed to trust other people more than we do ourselves. Sometimes even religion. In fact, I know religion definitely does it. There's this idea, particularly when I was brought up in a particular brand of Christianity, can make you feel like unless your pastor or shepherd has told you that you can do this thing, that you cannot trust that you're not being deceived by yourself. Even though you know what you're here to do, you know who you're meant to be. You do know, no matter how uncertain you might have practiced feeling. Remember, certainty is also a choice that you make. Okay? It's not a feeling you wait for. You choose this. And a certain brand of Christianity definitely can make you feel like you shouldn't trust yourself, that your heart is deceitful above all things, and so you should not trust yourself. And if you were brought up in that kind of feeling that everybody else somehow knows better than you what is good for you, I'm not surprised that you get trapped in this need for their validation. But it is not a trap that you need to remain in. It is not a trap you need to remain in. The other side of it is social media, comparing yourself to other people. Comparing, especially if somebody's already at step 100, and there you are trying to start your step 1, and you're comparing your step 1 to step 100. This need to compare yourself with other people, this pursuit of social media results such as likes and comments and follows, thinking that in some way validates what you have to offer the world, that unless people are liking and following, obviously, and they're out there loud and proud telling you how or sharing your work with other people, that somehow that must mean that what you have to offer, unless that's happening, then it's not, your work is not valuable enough. People start chasing Facebook's results, as in Facebook or Meta or Instagram or whatever. They have a vested interest in you keeping people on their platform with your content. And so then it's like the kind of validation they send me sometimes is like, oh, you advertise this particular post because there was so much people loved it, and it might not be a post that actually furthers my desire. So I'm looking for sales. I'm looking for an audience member who is actually really interested in what I have to say. I'm looking for people that read, but then I might then just start trying to change my voice so that I get more likes and follows and shares, which is exactly what the social media platforms want. They want people to stay on their platform, but that's not my goal. It's not your goal either. And I have to say this to clients over and over again. Your goal is not to be the most popular person on the block. Your goal is not for everybody to absolutely adore you. That's not the goal. It's a great aside. If it happens, great. But actually, you are still called to your certain people who want to hear your voice. So if you are massaging your voice, trying to get that external validation, you're probably even calling into your life the wrong kind of people. So even if you did get them to buy from you and stick around, they're probably going to be pains in the butt because they are not the people you are called to serve, because you are trying to get external validation. I can't tell you the number of people on like YouTube have built up this huge following of people that love what they're saying, but the moment they ask them to take the next step, as in buy something that will actually further their personal growth, all those people that were just there for the free stuff can just turn on this creator, completely turn on this creator, who then loses the will to live because they loved the external validation. They loved the fact that all these followers made them look popular, made them look good, And then now that they actually need to make money, but they've built an audience of people who just like their stuff, but don't actually want growth. And so that really cuts them inside, because then suddenly all these people turn against them and say, you're just about the money or this and that and the other. And the truth of the matter is that if you're in business, yes, there is a part of you that is about the money, man. There is nothing wrong with that. You got to eat. You got to feed your children. Absolutely you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have anchored your confidence and your strength, or your confidence and your confidence on whether people like you, whether they want to keep following you or any of that stuff, it will literally break you, because people are fickle. Let's be honest about it. People can be fickle. You can be fickle. What they like today, they may not like tomorrow. So if your whole life is based on whether people like you, whether people will continue liking and following and sharing your posts, or whether you look the same as some other social media guru out there, you will find that your confidence keeps taking a beating, and your need for external validation will just keep growing. And so then you'll start contorting yourself, trying to be whatever anybody else out there wants from you. Enough, enough, enough. Listen, even your family may not understand why you're doing what you're doing. And yet you need to have such a solid foundation in your connection with the divine, and a deep knowing of what you are about. And you do know what you're about. You do know your purpose. You do know what you want. You just haven't been practiced in really holding your ground around it. So if there's any part of you that thinks, but I just don't know what I want, you do know what you want. You're just worried about holding your ground for it in case people don't like the fact that you're doing that. In case your family doesn't like it. Your family may not understand why you are living, why you're trying to live the life that you're trying to live. And that's okay. They don't have to. It is your vision, not theirs. So don't allow people's opinions to paralyze your ability to make decisions about living in your purpose. This is your life. You cannot live it just for everybody else's approval. Okay, you can't. A lot of people do and think, in fact, that that is the way life is supposed to be, because that's what you've been trained all through school. You had to conform, you had to fit into a box. This is the way success is supposed to look like, and you're supposed to fit to it. Except now you need to break free. If you're ever going to be really experience that freedom life, you need to break free. And yes, it will be scary to begin with, but it is not impossible for you. The problem as well with waiting for other people's validation is like the chances that you get so used to criticizing yourself when you're not quite like who you think you should be like, or when you don't get the validation that you're expecting, and then you start looking for all the problems inside of yourself. Enough. We talked about this yesterday, about the inner child and the feminine being really beaten down because you keep, well, if in this case, if you're looking for external validation, you keep pushing yourself down because who you are may not suit other people, may not get the validation you think you should have. And if you're so dependent on it, you'll keep looking for the faults inside of yourself. You keep beating up on yourself. You keep criticizing yourself. And that is not healthy. It's not a safe place inside of you. So that will stop growth. That will keep you trapped in a life that is far less than your true potential. Enough. Reestablish yourself in your connection to the divine. Start to hear the divine voice within you. Let that be enough for you. Let your confidence come from that connection with the divine. That is a solid place on which to build a life. The fickleness of people's opinions is not, it's like building your house on sand. Anything can shake it down, but you build your house on a solid rock of your connection to the divine and a love for yourself. It doesn't matter what's happening out there, you will hold firm. You will stand your ground. You will be able to affirm yourself, validate yourself, and keep taking whatever steps are necessary to bring your business, your purpose, whatever it is, your goals to life. You are meant for more. You know it. You know it. You cannot wait any longer for anyone else to affirm you. Affirm yourself. Rise up. Be all you need to be. Speak words of affirmation to yourself. Remind yourself of who you are every freaking morning. Start the day telling yourself who you now choose to be. And understand that, especially when you're just growing if you're living your purpose and business is part of this, when you're growing that business to begin with, there may not be the external validation you need at the very start, or even at any point in the journey. You still need to hold your ground, knowing I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm here to do. I know my message changes lives. And so therefore, I will hold my ground until your people hear your voice. And even then, you are not swayed by praise or persecution. You know who you are. And this is built inside of you, as in you daily affirm yourself. You daily remind yourself who you are. You daily connect and stay connected to the divine and hear the divine voice within you. Daily, you refuse to be swayed. Because as I said, you have been programmed to look to other people for guidance all the time. There's a time when it's, coming to work with me or working with a coach or whatever, when you're guided to do it, absolutely correct. But when you can't seem to take an action without getting somebody's approval, that's approval addiction. Enough already. It's time to start validating yourself. Come on. It's time to start trusting your own intuition. And it's time to say no when people are trying to get you to be anything other than you. You are enough. And you are the deliberate designer of your life. You are powerful enough to create what you desire. So own what you desire and refuse to quit until you have done it. This is your life. Live it to the fullness of your potential. You will thank yourself. You will thank yourself. You will thank yourself for holding your ground. Okay? Okay. On that note, I'm going to bring this to a close. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. Share this with somebody else, okay? And if you do not have a copy of my book, Remove the Blocks, and you are that ambitious spiritual person determined to live in your purpose, to thrive, to prosper, to make at least 6 figures in your purpose, get a copy of my book, Remove the Blocks. The link is around this video. If you really want to accelerate things, let's have a session together. The Remove the Blocks session. The link is also around this video. If you're on Instagram, send me a message saying private session, and I will get the link to you. Are you ready to remove the blocks that keep you in a life far less than your true potential? You are meant for more, and it is time that you claim it. Are you ready? Until the next time, my loves, go forth and prosper. This is your life. Make the most of it. Okay? Bye.